Hello, right, welcome to the Final Flight podcast. I'm James again here with Joe. How are you, Joe? We're going to do a Cheltenham review. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, of course, mate. Of course, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it was an absolute belting week, wasn't it, to be honest? So many good winners, so many big prices, some sensational performances, and we're going to fly through this, and then we'll have a second episode for 3 and 4. So you'll be able to listen to them on your way home to work, or way home from work, should I say. So we'll fly through it. First race, Supreme, the one that got us off to a fantastic start, Nationale. What were your thoughts on that, Joe? Fantastic, wasn't it?
Brilliant, mate. Exactly what I expected, to be fair. I've been sweet on him all along. And I thought he looked comfortable as well when doing it, to be fair. I thought the only sort of well, not taking it away from the horse, because I didn't have any questions about the horse. The only questions I had on the day was the jockey not getting the claim, which he normally got. But I thought he rode a brilliant race, and all credit.
Yeah, I thought maybe a little bit of inexperience could maybe go the way of sort of Paul Townend, them sort of older heads. But I thought he'd give him an absolute peach of a ride, cruising up on the outside. Like I say, it looked like he had bags of horse underneath him, and I thought he sort of slowed down to pop the last, knowing he got Facile Vega beat. Did you think the same?
Yeah, 100%. Like I say, I thought he looked very comfortable. I mean, did he give him 3 taps or so? There wasn't a lot in there. I didn't think he had to get too serious. And it was sort of nice to see your favourite get beaten the first and you're not on it type of thing, I thought. And especially on the day as well, I was really surprised at the price. In some places, he went out to 6-1, 11-2.
It was a pretty crazy sort of betting. I think people were just getting behind Facile Vega, which is, you can sort of see why. And it's definitely an horse I wouldn't give up on. I think he had the setback, obviously, lame and all that. And to come back and to still run such a big race, he is definitely some exceptional.
He's definitely a brilliant animal. The question I'd have him going into 2024 and going forward is, does he like a horse coming alongside him?
You're probably right, to be fair. If it comes to an absolute battle, an out-and-out battle, has he got the guts to do it? Sort of thing?
I mean, the first day, you give him the benefit of the doubt, but at Cheltenham, I mean, he stumbled at the flight, and then I didn't think he offered much. Normally, some horses sort of get left out in front, and then as soon as a horse comes alongside them or near them, they hear the horse and they go again. I feel like Facile doesn't really do that, or he doesn't leave himself anything left in the tank, should I say?
Yeah, I think for me going forward, I mean, obviously you got the ties with Corvega. I think he's a little bit more of a stay-in. I think that little error at the last, I think he didn't have the speed to pick up again that Nationale has over 2 mile. I think probably maybe a step up in trip. Whether they go over fences or not, if they do go over fences, for example, I'd probably be thinking like a Turner's maybe, or they might. Yeah, well, you think you'd have to go for fences now, really, don't you think?
Yeah,
or 100%. Even over hurdles, maybe champion hurdle, maybe, I don't know, but.
No, it's a tough one, isn't it? But I think, like I say, all credit to Nationale, and looking forward to see what he offers next year.
Where do you think he'll go next year? Quick one before I move on.
Arkle.
You think he's going Arkle, novice chasing?
100%, mate. 100%.
Well, if he does, I'm sure we'll be backing him through the season.
Yeah.
Right then, moving on to the Arkle. Fabiolo obviously absolutely battered John Bond. We were in the John Bond camp, and he just didn't pick up on the day. I think he had a few little sketchy jumps, should I say. But that engine that El Fabiolo's got, even though he maybe had a little error in him, he was just there cruising in behind the front 2 all the way. And once Dysart fell away, he just took it.
Yeah, definitely, mate. He's what you call, I'd say, a really strong galloper. It doesn't look like there's much turn of foot there, but when the taps are turned on, he just looks so easy and effortless. And I thought Paul, again, he had plenty of horse under him. And I know a lot of people said the day of the Irish Arkle, the race fell apart, appreciate didn't show what he was about, stuff like that. But he definitely backed it up here. And to be fair, there must have been someone somewhere who fancied him, because a lot of money came in for him. Anti-post wise, they're always 6-4, 13 to 8 between them. John Bond took a big drift on the day. I think he went off at 2-1. And John Bond isn't a pushover either. I know there was questions about his last day, but forget John Bond had a tough race at Cheltenham the year before and beat El Fabiolo in the April. an entry. So, no, like I say, credit to him again. And Paul Townend got this one spot on, I thought, following, and then kicked off the bend.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I think, I mean, to be fair, big Fabiolo before, but John Bond did shit for me, and I really liked John Bond. But I think sort of in the previews we were talking about jumping being a little, but obviously it was basically. But I think this Fabiolo, from what I've seen now, is going to be absolutely unbelievable. I think he's up there, going to be up there with the top class. I think, and I think a sort of champion chase. I know Willie's mentioned him staying over 2 miles, so I'm thinking champion chase. I'm thinking he'd 100% stick it to Energumene, don't you?
Yeah, 100%, mate. I think, like you say, I know we're going to get onto that, but Energumene's won a lot of mediocre races, in my opinion. But like you say, we'll get onto that. But in terms of El Fabiolo, I would be taking Energumene on next year if they're both lined up in the champion chase.
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe a sort of 3-1 price at the moment. I think that's pretty tasty. So yeah, moving on to the next race. Corach Rambler obviously got the win. We won't spend too much time on the handicaps, but I thought this was a fantastic back-to-back effort. He's gone and won it again, and I think he's going to be probably a Grand National type horse. And there were a couple in there that travelled well, but he absolutely powered up the hill once again, stayed on through beating horses, and he managed to get the win. I thought it was a good win for him back-to-back.
Yeah, 100%, especially £6 higher than last year. You know, the great training performance, and all credit definitely to the jockey as well. I mean, he was cool. I think, to be fair, I think they always knew in the camp and jockey-wise, if he's there and he's got in a good rhythm, I think they always knew they had enough horse to get up that hill. And to be fair, the way he got up that hill was very impressive. He looked to get a bit idle towards the line, would you say? You know, his head carriage got a bit all over, but no, I think they had plenty of horse that day, and like I say, all credit to him 2 years in a row.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to be a player at Grand National. I think if he's anywhere sort of within striking distance, you know for a fact he's going to be staying. And like the longer distance will do him doing the world of good. But yeah, decent win on the handicaps there for Corach Rambler. Pleased for the connections. Moving on to the champion hurdle, and well, there wasn't really much to say about this. He's just an airplane, isn't he? I think he cruised into it. They were, to be honest, I don't think they were even going fast enough for him. He obviously had to take it up, and he probably had him beat coming to the second last, to be honest. And I think he's left State Man for dead, and he looks still on the bridle. And even the final jump at the last hurdle, or the final flight, should I say, he's jumped that so early and probably got away with it. But he's got that much ability. It's got him over, and he's got that much strength. He has made it over, and he's just looked phenomenal for me. What are your thoughts, Joe? Let me know.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I mean, there's no questioning there was the hype about him, and you know, going into the festival, but he's delivered, hasn't he? I mean, I watched a little video of Nico commentating on the race, and he was saying all along it was sort of they weren't going fast enough, but he wanted to get a bit of a lead all the way around. Yeah, and if you watch the race back, every time he jumped a hurdle, he was ready to go on. He was ready to go on, and he was reining him back. And then come the home turn, I think he winged the third last. And Nico said from then on, I just thought I'm going to have to let him go. He had targets on his back like State Man, but I mean, they did make an impression, did they? I mean, Nico said he heard a couple of horses behind. He gave John Bon a little squeeze and off he went.
I don't know where the horses that he had behind him were, because they were pretty far back eventually, weren't they?
No, yeah, the third last he said, and then obviously on like you said there on the final flight, he's absolutely winged the last, and you know it shows how much horse he had underneath him. Still, you know, he tried to slow him down and just pop it, and he wasn't having any of it, was he? He just flew over and flew up the hill.
It just shows how much sort of faster he wants to go. But I think obviously going forward, I mean, he could obviously easily probably go win another champion hurdle. He'd probably win another 3 or 4 if he wanted to. But hopefully they will go novice chasing within next year and go in an Arkle. And if we've got a Marine Nationale, I think that'd be an exceptional race for the fans like us to watch. And I think it'd be one hell of a battle.
Is that where you think he'll go then, the Arkle?
I do, yeah. I think they're going to go novice chasing, personally. I think, for me, when you've got a horse that's that good and sort of it could be anything at any sort of level, I think once you've done one, you've ticked the champion hurdle box. Now for me, it's up to the next level. It's chasing, it's Arkle, it's champion chase, it's then probably whatever else next, RSAs and Gold Cups, and that's what I'd do. And I think if he can go dance every dance, that's when we get an horse as exceptional as this. For me, I want to see him go and do to see him over in Ireland to be a little bit of a over the sea type horse and just beat them all. Do you know what I mean? That's what I want to see personally as a racing fan. And when you get a horse like this, what about you?
Yeah, 100%, mate. I agree. Just a few comments, like from the festival that I did pick up on. You've got, well, just after Nicky said about he could go and annoy the flat boys, which interested me.
He even mentioned Ponty. He mentioned he might have a race at Pontefract for him to win. I mean, that's just down the road from me. So if he turns up at Pontefract, I'll be happy with that.
And also that, I mean, that should, for me, shows that that they still believe he's got some kind of speed in him, i.e. the champion hurdle. And then Willie mentioned about having Impaire Et Passe to beat him or to challenge him next year. Now, I would have Impaire Et Passe for the Turners. I don't know about you.
Yeah, I think if he goes novice chase again, if it's the if and but, if he goes novice chasing, you'd probably think Impaire Et Passe is a bit more of a Turner horse.
Yeah, that's what I'd have him down as. And I just think there could still be, Constitution Hill is still only young, and for me, I think there could be another let him develop, let him enjoy it, and then after next year, let him jump a fence. But keep him over hurdles, and then the year after really kick him on. But like you say, we all do want to see him go and conquer everything up to Gold Cup. So for me, it's more enjoy him.
No, I agree, and like you say, they'll make the decision. Nicky and the owners will make whatever decision is best for them and the horse. But like you say, with a bit of luck, I think novice chasing will probably be a decent way. He'll win 2 or 3 races at 1 to 5, probably even shorter. And then it'll be a case of have a go in the Arkle. But I know a few people were saying if he can jump a fence, go straight for a champion chase. But Nick Henderson's never going to rush these types. We've seen it before where he just takes his time and you should, like I say, take your time, enjoy him. Don't rush him into anything you don't have to. Like I say, he's only a young horse. He's got time on his hands. He's got so much time on his hands. And I think we've seen a champion hurdle win. I think the best is yet to come, to be honest. I can't see anything getting near him. The only horse I could see getting near him would maybe be a Marine Nationale. If we get an Arkle with Marine Nationale and Constitution Hill, I'll be on the edge of my seat waiting for that to happen, to be honest, I think.
Yeah, exactly the same.
Right then, so on to the next one, the Queen of Cheltenham. She finished on a high, Honeysuckle. She won the mares. What did you think of this? Brilliant to watch, wasn't it?
Unbelievable, mate. I mean, I've mentioned it before and I'll mention it again. Just to see the family, the De Bromheads, Honeysuckle, Rachel, it was brilliant, wasn't it? And I mean, the way she got up the hill. I mean, she doesn't always win the last, as we all know. But she did sort of, give Love Envoy the upper hand. And the way she got up the hill, there was no question about how she sort of degressed. She flew up that hill. And I mean, there was a few horses in there who were very disappointing on the day. Marie's Rock, etc. But fair play to Honeysuckle, and I know she'll have had a lot of fans there as well at Cheltenham. Yeah,
I don't think there'll have been many people not cheering her on, even if you had not backed her. I think it was one of them where if you were there on the day and you'd not backed her, as soon as you were beat, you were cheering her home. Do you know what I mean? I think Love Envoy's run an absolute cracking race. I think it's a brilliant run because I thought the ground probably wasn't going to be soft enough for her, but I like to say Brandy Love and a few of the others have bombed out, and I think Honeysuckle, just to see her power up the hill one last time and to sort of, like you say, give the upper hand away on the final flight and then still battle back to show she's still got the desire to win and to win it forever. I mean, tears in his eyes with the De Bromheads and Rachel. I think it was brilliant. To me, it was a win for racing. And to be fair, this whole day was a win for racing. There were some brilliant results and it just showcased exactly what horse racing in Cheltenham's all about, if you ask me personally.
Yeah, 100%, mate. There was a few, I'd say, well, not a few, I'd say there was one ride that I wasn't a fan of, and it was Brandy Love, Paul Townend. There was a lot of question marks going into the run, but there was no doubt that this horse had a lot of quality, and I just thought he rode such a power race on a good mare as well. He left her out the back. I mean, I thought there was chalk and cheese in the race. I mean, I don't think she could have beat Honeysuckle, But in terms of Rachel, where she sat Honeysuckle, when she kicked, when she turned, when it come to it, how she performed and everything, horse and jockey, I think that was the difference. But yeah, I thought Paul Townend could have been a lot better. I think he should have at least stalked Rachel. Rachel got a great sit. No trouble or anything. And you look at Brandy Love, I think she was at the back following alongside Echoes in Rain, following Epatante. Epatante didn't really travel, didn't do much, and then all of a sudden Brandy Love's packed in and they've got no chance. What was your thought?
Yeah, I agree on that. I almost think that Paul maybe just thought the pace was going to collapse a little bit more, but I didn't think they went that fast. I think it did turn into a bit of a sprint, and I think that's what caught out the likes of Brandy Love, Marie's Rock, them sort of types. I don't think Epatante was at the races at all, to be honest, but them other types, I just think they got caught tap for tone. I think the two in front just scooted away, and before you know it, it was too late. And like I say, Brandy Love, I think when it comes to turning the taps on, I think she did get a little bit, not hampered, but she had a couple to get through. And by that time, the front two had already gone and she just didn't pick up. And you've also got to think, second run of the season for her. I sort of fancied her for it. I thought she'd be good enough because I thought the rest were regressing, but, well, we couldn't be any more wrong, could we? But I think she would be better for racing. She needs more races under her belt, I think, to be honest. But, Honeysuckle's just a superstar and she's gone out she could not have gone out any perfect for me, and I'm buzzing that she did, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely, mate, 100%.
So last couple on day one, Jazzy Matty won the other handicap, the Boodles. Another impressive win for O'Sullivan. Is it Michael O'Sullivan?
Michael O'Sullivan, mate, yeah.
Yeah, claiming 3. Obviously, I think he can claim 5 in Ireland, but it's 3 over here. But that's another good performance by him. He beat my selection biker by, I think it was a short head in the end. I was absolutely gutted. I thought Burns had played a blinder with biker, but luckily for Jazzy Matty, he got up on the end, and it's another win for a good set of connections.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Like you say, not too much really to say on the handicaps wise. I mean,
yeah,
it was a good win. It was nice to see Michael O'Sullivan, get 2 on the first day. It'd have been great for him. I know he come and said Jazzy Matty was always getting there, so it could be one to look for in another handicap, over a longer trip, I would say, if he felt like he was always getting there. But for me, I thought Biker was unlucky, like you say. I didn't have Biker, but I was cheering on for you. And I thought Burns had pulled a blinder, but unfortunately not. Great ride again, and I did hear after the race, Gordon Elliott did say he only found out on the morning of the race that O'Sullivan was claiming 3 and not 5.
That'd have been funny then if he'd gone down a short head.
Yeah, he said afterwards that he decided to keep him on because he'd already given him the ride type of thing. And it was too late. But he said if he'd have found out earlier, he may not have kept the ride. So, fair play to Michael O'Sullivan for getting the job done, really.
No, I'm buzzing for him. I think he gave Marine Nationale a peach of a ride. He's done this, give Jazzy Matty a peach as well. And he's got a massive future ahead of him, I think. Final race of day one, Gaillard Du Mesnil, 10-11. I posted this on Twitter as a very lucky banker. I think Marla Mission looked like he were going to storm it. I think, don't get me wrong, I think Gaillard would have stayed on and he would have stayed on and got second. But I do think Marla Mission were travelling well enough to win this. And the unfortunate fall, luckily everyone was fine. Jockey and the horse was up fine. But it was a shame that he couldn't stay up and take the win. But I think there were a lot of people breathing with a sigh of relief when Gaillard Du Mesnil got back up on the line. What about yourself?
Yeah, 100%, mate. I thought Patrick had a shocker, to be fair. I know he was talking this horse up a lot in all the reviews.
He nearly looked stupid, didn't he? Nearly went to sleep a little bit, I think.
Yeah, all the reviews, he was saying it was his best chance, it was his best ride. Coddy said before in his preview night as well that they were all playing for second place. This was the best horse he's been in grade ones all season. He's dropping down. Arguably had the best amateur on. And I thought Marla Mission wasn't for catching.
I agree.
I thought Patrick completely fell asleep and judged the race completely wrong. And luckily he fell, because I think if not, he'd have had egg on his face and he would have had a lot of angry punters.
Yeah, I think sometimes when you're bigging horse up so much and everyone's bigging him up, I think he probably just got a little bit too confident. And obviously the form, he was miles ahead of the rest. But obviously, Marlon Mission's just put up an absolutely brilliant performance, and he nearly caught them all sleeping. And it was just unfortunate he come down. But fair play to Gaillard for getting back up in the end and probably saving a lot of people's accas, to be honest.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, he stayed really well, and he did make up a lot of ground on Chemical Energy. But in terms of the Marlon Mission, it jumped well, got in a good rhythm, easy lead. I think you've got first lap. I thought, yeah, fair enough. He's sitting sweet. Kick him on a bit now, and there's 5 left, and you're thinking, right, make a move. Marlon Mission's still galloping. He's had it so easy up front, and I just thought there's another race a bit like this where I thought there's a Jordan Gameford did have egg on his face.
Yeah, we're coming up to that in a minute, mate, I think.
Yeah.
On to day 2 then, the Ballymore Novices Hurdle, won by another aeroplane, Impaire Et Passe, and Townings basically sat silent coming up to the second last, and he just kicked him on and won this very, very cosily, 6.5 lengths to Gaelic Warrior, Champ Kylie. Goodland run a pretty decent race, I thought. Maybe the ground just went a little bit against him, or he just got a bit caught for tap for toe, maybe. I just think Impaire Et Passe is an absolute, aeroplane, basically. What do you think? He's up there with Constitutional, I think.
Yeah, 100%, mate. For me, I would have liked to have backed 5-2. Now looks a great price, but you were really backing on, the hype around the yard and the horse. Really, I beat the Model Kingdom by 6 lengths or so. It was visually impressive, but can you take a short price favourite from Cheltenham off that? I don't think you can for me. Goodland, bit tap for toe. I mean, I would say the owner of Marine Nationale and Goodland always preferred Goodland. Barry Connell, yeah, always preferred Marine Nationale. And I know when Marine Nationale won, Goodland got cut into 3-1, and then he drifted back on the day. And I just think, like you say, Impaire Et Passe, all fair play to him. I mean, it's as much as a steering job as you can get for Cheltenham, apart from Constitution Hill, really. What did you think?
No, you're right, yeah. It was a bit of a steering job. And I don't mind when the likes of Barry Connell come out saying, get stuck in. I don't mind them having confidence behind their own horses. And it's us as sort of fans watching it from the outside and punters and things who've got to sort of decide for ourselves, do we think it's good enough? But I think the form for Impaire Et Passe wasn't really massively there. He dropped down to 2 mile and beat Model Kingdom, like you're saying. You're thinking, can he go and do this? You're sort of backing on pure hope and, like you say, the vibes behind on the stable behind him, and he's gone and won with any sort of ease. And 5-2, when you look back, is an absolutely unbelievable price. And I think if he goes champion hurdle next year, like I say, there's him, Marine Nationale, and Constitution Hill. They're the 3 we're super excited for next season. Are we going to get a clash? We're probably going to get some sort of clash. Probably two against each other. One's probably going to go the other way. And I think that's what's going to happen. So it's going to be so interesting to see what happens next year, don't you think?
Yeah, 100%. To be fair, I think you could see Impaire Et Passe, Constitution Hill in the hurdle for me. And I think you will see Marine in the Arkle. Barry's been, said all along, Marine Nationale will win this race, and then he'll go the Arkle. He was 16-1 before he won the Supreme. Now he's in the 5s. Whereas Impaire Et Passe and Constitution Hill, there is still a question mark on them. Constitution Hill's still odds-on favourite for the champion hurdle. Impaire Et Passe, I believe, is favourite for the Turners. So, like you say, it's all a guessing game. Willie Mullins won't show his hand till the night before the Cheltenham 2024.
That's it, and it's good. It is. I mean, the anti-post prices are a little bit. I mean, obviously they're a league above these sort of horses, and you're not ever going to get any sort of price. And like I say, you'd have to back before this Cheltenham for next Cheltenham if you want any sort of price. But we're just going to have to go with it and see how and see what we can get. I don't think it'll be too bad.
No, definitely not, mate.
But yeah, another aeroplane to add to the novice chasers maybe next year. So looking forward to that next season. Next one, the real whacker. Oh, Jerry Colomb. Oh, he's nearly got there. It was Champ-esque how he was not jumping fluently, and he's come flying at the end and just gone down a short head. I think the ride from Sam Twiston Davis on the Real Whacker were fantastic. I think there were horses bombing out in the front and not getting caught all day, really. The day, it was one of them sort of weeks where people were letting horses at the front get away and they just weren't coming to get them. And it carried on throughout the week. We'll get onto some of that later. But I think the ride on Real Whacker were brilliant. But people are sort of touting Jerry Colombe now, a sort of Gold Cup type, but I'm not sure. The more I've looked at the race after now, the likes of Bron in third, I Am Maximus in fourth. Is it going to be is there going to be a superstar come out of this to challenge a Galopin Des Champs type of the Gold Cup? I'm not so sure. What do you think?
No, mate, no chance. When I did look through the field, there were. The Elliots have always said Mighty Potter was their Gold Cup horse. Now I know we'll get on to Mighty Potter, but for me, when I did look through this, that was my only question mark over Jerry Colombe in terms of there's a horse who's, sort of very, very strong favourite in this type of field. If he's going to be any type of good horse, he's got to be winning this and winning it well. Never jump with any fluency, really. Sam Twiston Davies, brilliant ride. Easy lead again. This horse coming in to the festival, all the ones next to his name have been from getting out front, jumping in a nice rhythm and not getting caught. Mm-hmm. And I think John Gainford just got a bit complacent. Let Sam Twiston Davies kick early, even though I thought he asked a question, but I didn't think he got serious until the second last. He hit a bit of a flat spot and then kicked up the hill. I do believe if he was ridden a bit closer to the Real Whacker, it could have been different, but all credit to Sam Twiston Davies. And I mean, a winner from the north, you don't often get that, do you? So I was happy for that.
No, I agree with you, mate. And like I say, I think going forward, and obviously there'll be the only real race for this lot next is the sort of Gold Cup, and I think they'll all probably turn up, but I can't see them challenging anyone at the top of the market. It's one of them races I probably won't look to follow many of them from it.
No, definitely
maybe like
not.
an Iron Maximus or something like that in an handicap. Maybe that's probably my only shout, but. Other than that, I'm not too fussed, to be fair. No. Langadan finally got his head in front in the next Coral Cup. Finally got in front for Skelton. I've not got much to say on this, apart from, I'm pleased for Skeltons. I think they're a very shrewd outfit when it comes to handicaps. And to see Langadan get up, finally, after being sort of unlucky the last 2 years, bumping into Galopin Des Champs and then being brought down, I think it was fair play. I thought it was a great run from Camprond. I thought the ground had gone against him again, and I thought that was an unbelievable ride from the front. I thought he was the winner for a long way out, and he just got caught up towards the last couple of yards. So, yeah, that's my sort of thoughts on that one, mate.
Yeah, definitely. I thought Camprond was very unlucky, to be fair. I know Ruby Walsh sort of reviewed the race straight after, and he showed that Camprond, there's only one hurdle, isn't there, for the first 2 days up the straight. And he lost a lot of momentum at that hurdle. And I just think if Camprond had maybe jumped that better, it could have seen a different result. But like you say, this horse has been, Cheltenham handicap written all over it. And like you say, brought down and then against Galopin, you don't get unluckier than that, do you? So fair play to Skeltons. They won a few handicaps, to be fair, throughout Cheltenham. It seems to be the specialist for that one, don't they?
Yeah, no, fair play to them, and I think I don't mind seeing the Skeltons win a couple of handicaps. I think they did well, even though when we talk about the one later on, I was on the Skelton one, just on the complete wrong one.
Yeah.
Next race, the Champion Chase, Energumene. I've got the scarf to I can never do this, it's backwards. I've got my little Energumene scarf there, so I'm a bit gutted actually went against him in the end, but he's absolutely destroyed these. I think the ground's gone against Edwardstone. I'd probably say whatever setback he had before was a little bit more lingering than we thought, and he just didn't run any race whatsoever. I think Energumene's again won a pretty easy Champion Chase in the end with the best UK one dropping out and nothing else really to beat. What do you think? I mean, it was impressive, but obviously, what has he beat? We don't know, but he's done it again. Can I say fair play, can't he?
Yeah, 100%. Mate, like I say, it was frustrating for me really because I did fancy him and I didn't really put any money on the race. Like you say, for me, it was. He's won again and he's got another Champion Chase to his name, but it's another race for me which has fell apart in a way of, the best horse challenging him twice in a row, Shishkin and Edwardstone, not running any race at all. And you're looking there, was Captain Guinness second?
Yeah, Captain Guinness second, Grenadine third.
Yeah, and you look at that and you think, is the form great? And that, for me, that's the reason why I definitely would fancy El Fabiolo to come and take Energumene's crown next year. However, I think Tony Bloom backs this horse to the death, and he'd tell me different.
Yeah, probably. I think it just fell perfect for him again. Conditions. It was wet. It was raining. The ground had gone a bit more soft than normal. It was just not as bad as last year, but just similar to that. And he's just galloped him into the ground basically. And don't get me wrong, he's a top class horse. But yeah, I think El Fabiolo is going to be the one to take his crown off him next season.
If you remember, I did call this race not perfectly, but I did say, didn't I? I felt last time Paul ridden the wrong race on him, keeping him out the back, and he didn't go from the front, but he went from a place where he could take it up when he wanted, and he wasn't jumping into anything, which I thought was massively helpful. He jumped with fluency. Like you say, the conditions helped massively and sort of nulled the chances of Edwardstone. Whether it was a full and fit Edwardstone turning up, no one knows, but all credit to Energumene, another good winner.
Yeah, credit where credit's due. He's got and done it, and that's it. They've won, and the trophy. His name's on the trophy again. Next race in the cross country, Delta Work did the business. He beat Galvin. He stayed up the hill. To be fair, I was a little bit worried for Delta Work when it was them two coming to the last. I thought if Galvin's got anything about him, he probably should go win this. But once again, Delta Work did outstayed him up the hill and has won it for Keith Donoghue, who's actually won quite a few cross countries. I'd rather have him in on than David Russell, to be honest. I was happy with that, and fair play to Delta Work for winning again.
Yeah, 100%, mate. This horse knows where's the line is at Cheltenham, doesn't it?
Certainly does.
Just seems to get up. But no, like I say, this is what I love about this horse. Every time he jumps, touch wood, he never ever looks like falling. He's just rock solid. You know what you're going to get with your money. You're going to get a solid steer and a fluent jumper. Which is perfect, what you need around Cheltenham. And like you say, the rain definitely helped him. And I was a bit wary going over the last, but he's kicked off up the hill and he's come and won it again. Can he go and win it 3 times in a row is the question.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens next season. If obviously they're going to go for it again, it's just whether there's something else in the race that comes out of the woodwork, like a Galvin or like for Tiger Road, it was Delta Work. So is there going to be another one in there? Has Elliott got another one that he's going to bring from a grade 1 into this race? And the more you look at it, the more you're thinking they just keep putting horses. I think they keep putting horses in just so they can all lump on at a decent price on the day.
Yeah, 100%, mate. I mean, I'm just looking at it there. And Delta Work was about 7-4 the night before. He went off 11-10. Galvin went off 11-4. And you look at the next challenger, which was the Mullins horse, Franco de Port, who's went off 9-2, and he's finished 28 lengths behind. So for me, these other horses, apart from the horse in the Elliott stable, have got a lot to make up, really, haven't they? You're going to need one to come out from the woodwork, really.
Yeah, big time. Next race was the Grand Annual, won by Maskada. Like I said, I've not got a big opinion on this one, so if you have, then fair enough. But I think I Global Citizen, I thought he run a good race, backing up from last year. But other than that, I think the winner won well for Henry de Bromhead's team, and I was happy to see them get another win. To be honest, that's probably only the thing I've got to say on it. It was really nice for them to get another winner.
Yeah, definitely. The only disappointment for me was Rachel wasn't on board. Like I say, I think this horse did. Let me check. Was in Leopardstown a few weeks before.
Yep.
On the 5th of February, and there was a lot of jumping mistakes there when I backed, so which put me off really because you need a good jumper at Cheltenham. But like I say, to go and win by 6 lengths when it was close at the last, for me was very impressive. Not a great sort of overview of the race. Probably some good horses, that will probably go elsewhere or to Ireland after and win a handicap or something, but not a great deal in there, I don't think.
So we'll leave that at that, and we'll move on to the last race, the Champion Bumper, last race day 2, won by A Dream to Share, JP owned. I think personally, this horse is going to be something special over Novice Hurdles next year. I'm really excited for this horse. I think Factor File's a good horse as well. a couple of others in between. I mean, he had so many horses in behind when you look at sort of the form. But I think the way this horse won this race, if you watch it back the finish, I think he only uses the Pro Cush about 2 times, if that. And this horse is coming like a steam train to win. I'm really excited for this horse. And if I were going to be backing anything now for next year's Cheltenham, it'd probably be this. Because you can still get about 8-1 for the Supreme. And I look back at last year when Facile Vega won this race, he was not 8-1 for the Supreme the year after. If this horse is Mullins trained, he is a very short price, in my opinion. And I think for value, I'm really excited for A Dream to Share. What are your thoughts on A Dream to Share winning this, mate?
Yeah, mate, I completely agree. I think if you want value, you go A Dream to Share Supreme. Patrick was on a factor file, I believe, in second, and Gleeson was on A Dream to Share. 18-year-old, first ride at Cheltenham, family owned. You know, you can't get more pressure than that, can you really? No. Patrick, he's won plenty of times around Cheltenham. He's already had a winner at the festival. You say he's got the edge on A Dream to Share on a factor file. He's a Mullins trained horse. You know, everything's going against A Dream to Share, like you say. I feel like he's won pretty impressively. In the conditions as well. Similar conditions too for Vega actually the year before. And I think the form will stack up a lot better than the form the year before with horses like American Mike and behind. There's a few I would take out of this, definitely. But I definitely think A Dream to Share for the Supreme is a good bet.
Yeah, and I just feel like I say, it is very similar to last season when you've got a Facile Vega and an American Mike. And obviously, you don't know what's going to come out of a champion bumper. Last year's champion bumper doesn't look as strong as what people thought at the time. So we will see in time what this one ends up like. But I just think, like I say, there's a bit of value. A Dream. I mean, it's finished like a steam train. I just think the conditions suited. And even at the DRF, he looked a superstar there. And I look back through his form. He's unbeaten. He's 4 runs, 4 wins. He's won at the Dublin Racing Festival. He's won at Cheltenham Festival. He's got the world at his feet. And I think if he goes to a Supreme, you know, he's going to be way shorter than 8-1. And I'm really looking forward to him. If he can jump an hurdle, I'm really looking forward to this one. And JP don't buy anything.
I was just about to say that, mate. JP doesn't buy X, does he?
No, I think when he saw this one win at the DRF and went and bought him, he knew what he was buying. That's what I personally think. And I think going forward into next season, I'm super excited.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, mate, that was day 1 and 2. So we'll finish that one there. And we'll move on to day 3 and 4.